Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody across the globe who is watching us. Welcome to the Gemini Dhar Show. And this show is all about women entrepreneurs taking charge and making their lives the way they want and shaping their future. So, in my journey, in my podcast, yes, welcome. And first of all, a very, very happy Eid to all of you who are celebrating and to your family and friends. May you be happy, healthy, and have an amazing year ahead. So it's raining cats and dogs in Mumbai. And in spite of the rains, we are there here with one amazing personality. Her name is Vidisha Joshi Gandhi. Vidisha has been a lawyer and she is an intellectual property rights lawyer. She will really guide you into how you can protect your brand. So while I'm on this journey of introducing all these women entrepreneurs, I would want to welcome Vidisha. Vidisha, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
So, Vidisha, I would want to share with my audience that how important it is to protect your law, protect your brand. So, you know what? We nurture our children, we nurture things that we love, and we protect it like anything, like we protect our money, our loved ones, and everything. But when it comes to legal system, it is a very, very complicated process if you don't know it. And it's a simple and black and white process if you know it. So like I say, if you have nurtured your brand, if you've done branding for it, if you've done logos, design, concepts, promotions, you do everything for your brand. However, if you do not protect your brand, it is as easy as a pickpocketer coming and taking away your money. So do you want to just lose your brand to somebody who is smarter than you, who had some bad intentions, or you want to protect your brand and grow it to the largest and the biggest scale? So if you want to do that, stay on with us till the end for this conversation. Before we get into the nitty gritty of branding, I want to know about Vidisha. What exactly made you a lawyer, and why this journey of protecting people's brands and all that? So before that, tell me, Vidisha, from which city are you, and what was the little Vidisha like? You know, like Children's Day is just coming up. We want to know a little bit more about you as a child.
Sure. So I was born and brought up in Mumbai, and I come from a family of lawyers. So my father, my mother, and my extended family, everyone is a lawyer in the family. So since I was
Wow.
young, I was determined that I do want to become a lawyer because when I see my father guiding his clients and everything, so I was like, yeah, this is something I want to do and give people the right direction, how to shape their life, how to shape their business. So that is from where I decided that, okay, I'll be a lawyer soon. So then when I grew up, I went to government law college, which is in Churchgate, and I did my law from there. And I graduated in 2016. So around 2014, when Mr. Modi had become the prime minister, a lot of international business was taking place, and the loophole that we were facing in India was lack of a strong IPR policy. We could not materialize a lot of transactions because the IPR policy in India is not very great. So then he came up with this policy in 2016 for the better improvisation of the intellectual property rights, and that is when I graduated. So then I thought, okay, this is a very good field in which I can make a lot of improvements and contribute to the clients and guide them how to protect their intellectual property rights. So in 2016, I started my practice with my dad. He is into taxation and real estate, but then I bifurcated a little into intellectual property rights and business. So technically, my motto is to guide the clients how they should start their business, how they should do their business, and all the technicalities that I would be doing would be from my end, and they just have to look after the business. Otherwise, they would be running around doing all the hustles here and there around the formalities, compliances, and there's no time to focus on business. So we take all that load and we tell them that you do your business, rest is to us. So that is how I started that okay, intellectual property rights is the need of the hour today.
So, Vidisha, you know what? Talking of lawyers, you know, because I know you are a lawyer and everything is technical, you know, for you, everything is like streamlined,
Correct.
step one, step two.
Correct.
But I am a little bit more of an emotional person. And I know you are a fabulous lawyer. I know your work is amazing. Otherwise, you would not be, you know, connected to such amazing people that I know and working with them. So, I want to
Correct.
know one thing from you, that, Vidisha, as a human being, as a lawyer, what are the emotional part? I mean, you emotionally involved with your work, or it is just black and white? It's there, this in the book, it is like this in the book, and this is how it has to be done. How do you build a bond with your clients? Because I know a lot of lawyers now. One lawyer who is in my book, 9 Ways to Empower, Preeta Dave, is one of my closest friend. That means I can share anything with her. And while I was going through dozens of litigation cases, I didn't know anything about law, but I knew lawyers were trustworthy. So the people I worked with were my backbone, because if they misguided me, guided me in a wrong way, or didn't do enough for me, I would be shattered. Life would have been mess for me. But I won. I won the custody of my children. I won so many cases. I got arrest warrants. I got so many, lot of things, and still there were a lot of complications. In spite of having such strong, proofs and all, my lawyers were my backbone, because I lived because of them. Otherwise, I would have been finished. So I understand that you have a huge responsibility on your shoulders, because it is life and death for somebody on the other side who is sitting across you. So while you are sitting and talking to people and giving them advice, what is it that you understand about the person and their personality? Because I know a lot of lawyers are watching, and I used to believe that lawyers are robots, they work on money and system. But when I met amazing lawyers and I became friends with them and I bonded with them, I realized there is so much more to their personality than just being legally, lethal, because the person who comes to you is your client. The person on the other side is finished if you're really good. So I understand that, because literally I had one of the best lawyers for me who I rarely met, but his team and his work was so powerful that the person who was fighting against me was really shit scared, of what am I going to do next. Unfortunately, I was not funded enough to get more and more legal help. But whatever limited help I got, I made the best use, and I had the best lawyer. So, as an individual, as Vidisha, what are your traits? What do you like? What are your hobbies? What do you do? Tell me more about yourself.
So as you said, if I'm emotionally connected to my clients or no, I definitely am. So whenever someone steps in, I do consider that their business is my business. Now from that point onwards, I think, how do I grow this business? How do I protect their brand? How do I protect their business? So for me, I'm very emotionally connected to the clients, because a small thing here and there is a huge difference to their business. And that would definitely affect me as well. So definitely have to be very emotionally connected to the clients. There definitely are lawyers who just do black and white, who do this is the law, we'll do this. But we do take a step forward and provide them all the possible solutions, that whatever they need is at our doorstep. They don't need to go anywhere outside from our office to get anything at all. So we are mainly into non-litigation. We do a lot of property law, real estate law, intellectual property rights. So there are very less instances when there's an opposing party or something. But definitely, even in such cases, if we know our client is really genuine and what they demand is just justice, then definitely it's our responsibility to make sure that they get what they deserve.
And what about you? What are your hobbies? Do you all the time work on law, or you have some other lifestyle? Do you
I do
do you
have a lot of
travel?
hobbies. So one of the reasons I got into intellectual property rights is I'm a very creative person myself. I love art, I love paintings, I love music. So also I love media and entertainment. So I myself I practiced in media and entertainment law for good 3 to 4 years. I was at the leading law firms dealing into media law. So for the love of films, I have learned over there how do you protect your film, how do you protect your actors, your producers, and all the creative people involved in the sets. So for the love of creativity and recognizing that okay, if I'm a creative person, my rights here could be hampered. So that got me interested that I should work on how these intellectual property works. So if I'm putting my heart and soul into creating something very beautiful, I don't want anyone else to take advantage and benefits and fruits of those hard works and efforts that I have put. So for that reason, then I thought, okay, intellectual property rights would be something that would help me protect my creative work and also my clients who want to protect their creative work. So that is when I thought that intellectual property rights definitely make a big difference in the market today and also to the creative industry.
Okay, so Vidisha, for all the people who are, getting introduced to intellectual property rights and who have no clue what you're talking, because I've been with lawyers now more for now 7 to 8 years, and I know all kinds of lawyers. I know all kinds of people in law, good, bad. fabulous, excellent people who charge crores of rupees to just do one hearing. So I met all sorts of lawyers, and I really respect the profession. I also have a very good friend. She's a lawyer. She was into corporate law, and she just quit and she became a coach later on. You know her, that's Naina
I know her
Mansukhani.
very
And
well,
yes,
definitely.
so Naina has also been such a lovely individual in my life, and she's part of my book as well. So what I want to share, I want to ask you is, can you explain, like a layman, like you're explaining to a kid, what is intellectual property law?
Okay. So intellectual property law is anything that protects your innovativeness and your creativity. There are technically seven types of intellectual property law rights, but to a layman, the common ones that would come to use are trademarks, patents, and copyrights. Now, trademarks is something that protect your brand name. So if today you're coming up with a new show and you don't want anyone else to come up with a similar name, that would mislead the audience that okay, these shows are similar. You protect your name by a trademark. So a trademark protects your branding, your product. For example, if you're protecting some leading brands like Amul, Cadbury, then you don't want anyone else to come up with those names. So you protect your brand name by virtue of trademarks. The second thing that comes into picture is a copyright. When you write a book, so there are high chances that someone would take the crux of the book and make a similar book out of it. So when you want to protect your book, you get a copyright. You want to protect your script, you get a copyright. So those are the examples of copyright. So they protect your creative aspects. Now there's innovations and innovativeness. So whenever you're making a medicine, a new machinery, or anything of that sort, then patents come into picture. A patent is something that protects your innovativeness, your designs, how your machinery works, its output, and everything. So a patent is a very technical aspect that protects your mind and the functioning of the machinery or any novel product, a medicine, or anything that is very intellectually created. So a patent is something of that sort. Then there are different trademarks like geographical indications and protection of circuits, designs, and everything, which are not very useful to a layman because those are at very high industrial level. For a person like you and me, we would be more concerned with protection of our trademarks, copyrights. Also, we do a lot of corporate law. So when someone steps in, we understand what is the business they want to do. So there was a very customary practice in India where people used to just do a normal business, a one-person business, and not take it very seriously at all. Hota hai, chalta hai sab. It was that sort of business. No protection of brand, no protection of entity, partners dispute, and everything of that sort. So what we guide them is to create an entity which is so strong that even in the longer run, there are no disputes and nothing at all. So a lawyer technically wants disputes, but we want something in which we create an entity where there are no disputes at all. So that is our motto, to make something so strong and consult in a manner that a very strong thing is given to the client that they are sorted for life.
So, Vidisha, here comes a question that let's say I am the client today with you, and let's take an example of a coach or a fashion designer or somebody who is really creative. So, I create products, I have a video program, I have a book, I have my own brand in the name of Take Charge, I have a talk show here which is called Take Charge Gemini Dhar Show. I have a long term program for women entrepreneurs to grow, giving them guaranteed results. So, that's called Take Charge 5X formula. What do you think I should do as an individual to protect all this? So once it comes into dispute, we will discuss the dispute at the end of the show. But now that I am somebody who is an entrepreneur who is working, I don't have a established office because I don't need one. I travel, so I can always rent a workspace and I can get my meetings. I do seminars. So all these things are very mobile. They are not statutory. So what are the things I, as an individual, should have already done by now to protect my stuff? Give me an example so people can relate, because a lot of people know me and my work and they do similar kind of work. I'm not talking about big organizations who have got like different departments. I'm talking about solopreneurs or beginners or small scale entrepreneurs who have less than 500 clients.
Understood. Okay. So what we recommend is when you start a business, no matter how small it is, don't treat it as a small entity or a startup. Have a vision that what you're going to be 3 years down the line. Right now, you may not have anything more than 500 clients, but then keep that vision that what when I have more than 500 clients. You keep that setup ready as on today. So for that matter, now considering your show, you should definitely protect your branding. Your take charge is such a beautiful tagline that you passing on a very beautiful
I have a
message.
lot. See, I started 8 years back as a take charge expert, and this word and this everything came on brainstorming and talking to people, and then collectively making a program. Now, take charge expert was something which nobody understood and nobody knew a couple of years back. Now, I have a lot of people posting themselves as take charge experts, and I always smile because I said, "Whoa, wow, this is what Vidisha is going to do, for people like me." So, yeah, go ahead and explain. I can understand you that people may take up the titles and the names and try to portray
Correct.
themselves, or maybe unknowingly do it.
Correct. So when they do it unknowingly, so intellectual property rights are something that when you started using, maybe you started 8 years down the line. So you're the rightful owner for it back then 8 years. So if someone has started after you, you were technically the original owner. Now what happens is if you have not registered your rights with the government, you need proof of your registration of rights. If you have not done it tomorrow, if someone comes and registers, they get a one up above you. So as of today, if you feel that no one has actually registered your rights and you still own the take charge, you can actually proceed with it, and it's better late than never. You should start immediately and make sure, because take charge, even I've heard a lot of times, and then I connected how it comes from you. So definitely you should. So as I said, you have to make a game plan. That 3 years down the line, if I'm going to be at this stage, what preparations do I need as on today? Because if 3 years down the line you suddenly have to change your brand name, that'll be a major setback for you. So as on today, if you feel that okay, 3 years down the line, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be connecting to these many people across the globe. Come forward today and protect your rights today itself. So that is what the message I pass on to all my clients. That don't start as a startup or a small thing and have a small vision. Have a very wide vision where you know that 5 years down the line, if this is that I'll require that time, do it today itself.
Right. And
Yes.
what would you suggest for people who have already registered their trademark, but still they get caught up with similar, like I have seen Ata and Bata. Bata is such a big brand, but there are people who are selling shoes and chappals on street with the name of Ata or Rata, Rata, Rata. So they just use the voice, and then they replace it with a different spelling or a different addition of a particular character. How do you
Correct.
protect yourself at that time?
So there are two ways to do this. One is the legal way, and one is the way in which you create awareness amongst the public also to support the original products and not these copy products. So the legal way would be there is a very strong legal procedure now. So initially it was not that user friendly for people to access these intellectual property rights and to protect them. But now the lawyers are aware. The system is very user friendly. It protects the rights of the original genuine users of trademarks and copyrights and patents for that matter, all the intellectual property rights. So in that case, now the system is very strong. In that way, we can go and approach the courts. There are lawyers who are sitting here to guide them how to proceed with this. And there is a lot of improvement in our system since the past 5 years, as I said, since the policy has come in 2016, people are gaining a lot of awareness. These rights are in India since more than, you can say, 50, 60 years, but the awareness is coming now. So now that the awareness is coming, definitely the public should be aware of what they are buying. If they are paying something for it, they have to get the worth of it. They shouldn't be buying anything that is less than what they are paying for. So that
True.
way we can protect the rights by creating awareness also, and also by approaching your lawyers or any registry or something that would guide them that if someone is infringing their mark, there is a legal way to go there and make them stop it immediately.
So, what are the kinds of you can say judgments or solutions that have come out? And when you talk about legal system, the first thing that I also practically have experienced is the long, slow process. This is in normal family courts, property, I mean, civil courts and all that. What is the kind of court you have to approach when you're talking about, intellectual property rights? How long does it take to get a judgment? And what are the kind of winning stories that you can share, if you know about, some world survey or something in India that has happened, which you can share with the audience for them to realize that yes, this is possible, because most of the time legal system is like long story, and people talk about years and years, so people just don't want to get into it. I know a lot of women suffering in their lives, but they don't want to go to court. I mean, they would prefer to die or be beaten up or die hungry, but they don't want to go to the court. So I really have to sit down and tell them my story. Okay, listen, I didn't have a great backup. I didn't have money. I didn't have one of the best lawyers. I had one good lawyer, and I got arrest warrants. I got so many things in my favor in such a short span. So because in a domestic violence case, normally they say that the hearing is that you don't get an alimony or something monthly maintenance more than 25,000, whereas I got an order for 25 lakhs for a year, which was huge. Even the lawyer didn't count the zeros. He said you've got 25,000, and then he said 2,50,000, and then when I saw it, I said, hello, this is 25 lakhs. He said, sorry madam, मैंने zero नहीं गिना. It was such a big shock for him. He was just a junior lawyer, but I'm just sharing that this is the kind of mindset people have about law. So how will you share some success stories and some amazing judgments that have come in this favor?
It is a very common notion that when you go to the courts of law, 2-3 years is the minimum bar that you usually keep to get your redressals. And I agree to it that even in civil and criminal cases, as on today, the procedure is very slow. But there are some fabulous judges who have come and who are sitting overnight to get their cases disposed and give justice to the clients. So the system is really improving with time. Regarding the IPR rights, so that is also a very long procedure as well. But how the motivation is there for the clients to proceed with them is due to the long procedure, they have made a provision that from the day of your creation, you are entitled to use it. But from the day of your application, you can use those rights as if you own those rights, provided they are not conflicting with anything that is extremely similar.
Right.
If the minor similarities, that is fine because even the public is very aware to distinguish between those things. But as on today, if I know that if I made the application today, there are cases where the cases go on for 3 years, 4 years, and even more than that. I have faced my situations where the 7 years of long litigation has gone. But your rights are protected in that duration. If you have started a business, if you are continuing your rights in that procedure, you are absolutely entitled. If you have made the application, you don't have to wait for 3 years to receive your registration certificate. So the system is planned in a way that you really get to use your rights and you don't have to wait for that prolonged period for those rights. So in that way, we also have had a couple of cases where there were litigations and everything, but the system is actually very considerate about genuine users. If they feel that okay, this is the genuine user, the intention is not there to conflict with anything, and of course there are no similarities between those, but this opposition is just doing for some personal greed or something, they recognize that immediately. The times of corruption have gone and they really protect the genuine users who want to get their marks protected. So the system right now plays a very crucial role here. Initially, definitely there were a few loopholes which, if they were there today, the whole IPR concept would have not materialized, nor would it have been beneficial for the clients. But the way it is growing, we are matching the international standards somewhere because of a lot of support from the international forums for intellectual property rights and all of those concerns. So now we are going at par with the international standards, and we can also make our business grow at international standards. Because today if I'm starting small, but tomorrow if I want to do business with a foreign entity, if I don't have that infrastructure that matches with that, they will not do business with me. I would have had the intellect, I have the resources, I have the infrastructure, but if I'm not able to provide a quality service to my client abroad or internationally, that would have been a major setback for me. So protecting these from the very beginning in a way that you can grow globally over a period of time is the main concern, and our system is growing in a way which is protecting these rights globally, internationally, and also at the national level.
Amazing, amazing. So, Vidisha, tell me, if somebody is found guilty, of copying your logo, your stuff, and just using your brand name, what are the kind of implications? Because you know what, in India, hota hai, chalta hai, dekh lenge. These are the three famous words of
As
people
I
who
said,
want to do
yes.
mess. होता है चलता है देख लेंगे मतलब when it will happen we will see. So it is very important to make the audience today listening to us aware, the listener aware, that what are the implications, because I see a lot of first copies. I have also been guilty of buying first copies and second copies and third copies from Linking Road. Where I was in college, I used to go to Linking Road, I used to go to Fashion Street, and I used to just buy from the flea market, and it used to have those brand labels. Some of them were original because they were leftovers, but some of them were first copies, and we rarely realize, like a Rolex watch. I remember going to a UAE country, and I was practically invited to a private office. And when I went there and I sat there, and my eyes were wide open, because I saw this range of all first copy watches. The original is 35 lakhs and this is 3,500. The original is 25 lakhs and this is 2,500, as low as 500 rupees. And I was like, and I was a designer, so for me it was heartbreaking to see the copies. And I got so tempted. And there was a family friend with me, she bought so many to gift. And when she came to India and she gifted all those first copies to everybody, they were like, wow, wow, wow. But somewhere along the line, it pinched my belief system. It pinched my values that no, this is not right. So tell all these users of first copies and the copies and the similar things, what are the implications? What can you face when you get into this kind of stuff?
See, it goes for everything. The first copy incidents that you spoke about, it also goes for something like infringement of your movie rights or something, piracy. We are absolutely against everything. Piracy is a major drawback also to the industry. First copy is a huge loss to the business and the entrepreneurs and everything. I personally feel that anyone who's buying a first copy, he's not someone who would be buying an original. So ठीक है वो
True.
Rolex बनाया, Patek Philippe बनाया, जो भी बनाया, but they are never going to buy that. So it's not going to affect them in the longer run. But then it's definitely an infringement and it affects the owners because the quality of the product is not good when you buy such goods. And it also, someone who is not aware, he would say, oh, the quality is not good of Rolex. So the brand name of that definitely gets affected. So in such
Impacted.
cases, and any person who is buying TK, there is not a very major impact on them, but definitely a person who is producing, there can be legal implications. So there are quite a few legal implications when I know someone is producing a first copy. So seizure can happen of the goods. Even if you're using a similar trade name or something, so seizure of goods, there can be imprisonment also. There are huge penalties for that also. You can also claim the profits they have claimed by using your name. So there are many legal remedies for these things. So we definitely, as a whole, collectively should start a propaganda to encourage people not to get into this. You buy local designers. If this is your budget, you buy local designers. Buy something that's original. The joy of wearing that is definitely much more than wearing a first copy or something of that sort. So definitely, I do not promote these first copies, piracy, or any sort of infringement of these rights because someone who has put a lot of effort into it. A watch is
Right.
designed over a period of years. Like it takes a lot of effort to put those intricate details into it. A movie is made with a lot of efforts of 1.5, 2 years. So much money is put into it. And just for minor 100, 200 rupees, if you're doing a piracy or something, for individual person it's making a nominal difference. But the person who has made that movie or something, it's making a very big difference. So definitely we should make a joint thing that no, we will not take first copies. We will not take piracy in our country.
Correct. So now coming back to your system. So let's say I start a business today. It may be into garments, it may be fashion, it may be clothing, food, shoes, accessories, or maybe coaching. Okay, I start my coaching career, I start my business or selling something, and I get myself copyrighted. What other things should I keep in mind when I have my own business to protect my brand from being, maybe, duped by somebody, cheated, or what are the things that involved, and what are the kind of dangers that are there? What are the things that happen? Can you share some actual real life examples and some case studies so that they can actually understand? Because see, when you are talking as a lawyer and as a professional, you exactly know what you mean. But when it comes to laymen, they can make many assumptions out of it. So I just wanted you to give us clarity on that.
Vigilance is something which is very important. So it does not mean that if you have got your show name trademarked or you have got your book copyrighted, your rights end there. You have to tap your field. You have to tap your close vicinity. That where you are seeing, are you seeing anyone actually infringing those copyrights? Because there is a bar to which the lawyer knows your business. For me, if I've done your trademark, I would not know what you are doing day to day. If you have made a show, so you know better how the show is innovative in your own way. So if someone is making something similar, you have to also be equally vigilant. If you have done your trademarks, done your copyrights, done your registrations, done, you also have to keep a tab that no one else is doing something very similar. We do have a procedure for it where lawyers also keep a tab. Now, if a mark is trademark, so there are journals which come out weekly. So we do check that okay, if someone is coming with something similar with our clients trademarks, So that way, we also expect the consumers, the customers, the clients to be very careful. It may be anything. It may be a machinery. It may be a patented machinery or something. The garments, as you said, the clothes, the watches, or anything that is creative. If you have protected, make sure that you're keeping a tab constantly on it, that no one else is doing anything similar to you. So that also plays a very crucial role over here.
So, Vidisha, I have one question in my mind that while I was a fashion designer, no, we grew from small to really big. And then a lot of government officials started visiting our offices and asking for Gumasta license, this license, that, if you have a weighing scale, then you have to have a regular certification and clarification and so many things which I personally was not at all interested in doing because my focus was I'm a designer. I like to meet international people. I used to close orders. I used to get my payments and I was happy. Of course, I had a team of people working with me. So who takes care of all these small certifications, regular updates of government, whatever what you can say, compliances with government? Who looks after all these day-to-day things? And God forbid you have mistaken and you have, maybe you didn't do your ESIC properly, or maybe you didn't have the proper kind. So who comes in? Do you have somebody on board who checks every month or every quarterly? Do you have a lawyer or a legal person who is complying with all the government laws? Because every day something new keeps on coming. And I have experienced that, let's say 1 month, 1 quarter, I don't have a certificate which is updated, then the person would either come and seize my stuff or stop it or come and ask for extra money, or say you have to do this, you have to visit a government office, and it becomes a very, so while you're doing this big large scale business, there are these small things that keep tagging onto you and keeping you busy in things which are not financially productive.
Correct.
So
So, as I mentioned earlier, our motto of this initiative of Avyukta Trusted Advisory is definitely protecting the laws, but also protecting your business. So, these Gumasta licenses and all that you are telling is something very small, but then the person coming to me who's doing the business might not know, okay, so this is something I would require. So, we do have a panel of everyone from the most experienced chartered accountants to company secretaries to people doing licenses and everything. So, if they have come at our doorstep, we will tell them, okay, this all is required, and we over here are these associates, will get this done for you. You do your business, and that is about it. So we, our main initiative of this is that we protect the business in such a manner that the creative person is absolutely free and not bothered about all these compliances. That, oh, this will be done. Okay, as on today, there are a few loopholes also, that if you have not done something, huge penalties are get you into a big fix, definitely. But I'm sure with time, over the next 2 3 years, the system will also improve to become more. It will be more user friendly for the business people also, and business friendly concept will come into picture. So definitely, we over here definitely have everything sorted. So if you are here, you're doing a real estate business, you're doing manufacturing, you are a fashion designer, you're making a movie, whatever compliances are required, we have it over here.
are there any websites or any online portals where the women entrepreneurs who are watching us today, or the entrepreneurs who are watching us today, can go and do a Google research and get authentic information without being confused? So, for example, I'm a coach and I started coaching, and now I have my own brand, I have my programs. Where do I go and Google search, or which website do I go and visit to understand the basics? Because there are a lot of people who would like to do research on this. So the researching mindset kind of people would also want to read a lot, understand a lot. And how do I choose the right lawyer? Of course, you are one of the best, I know, and I can trust on you. But what about people who don't know you, or people who don't know lawyers? What are the parameters they should think about when they are choosing their advisor or a lawyer? So, two questions. One,
So
where can I
then,
go? Yeah, go ahead.
yes. So there's no single website where if you're starting a business, they're providing you with all of that. But definitely we are working towards that. That you just post a query that this is the business that I want to initiate, and we provide you a long list of things that, okay, this has to be done. We'll look into it, but these things have to be done by you. So
Wow,
definitely.
can you share that place? Because I personally am going to visit it and I'm going to check how empowered I am in terms of law, because I have known that for not taking care of my stuff and not being legally aware has cost me a lot. Crores, in fact, I have lost nearly 15 crores of property because I didn't have the
Oh,
knowledge. So the
oh.
thing is, I am somebody who's burnt my fingers and now I've become wise. I would like to just, go there and find and Google and search and read about it for sure, so that I can help the women entrepreneurs entrepreneurs who come to me also to understand it on a better perception. So where do we come and visit and to put in our profession and find out what all we should do? What is the website?
So we have just recently launched our website, which is www.avyuktatrustedadvisory.com, and we also have made a special place that you just post your query and we'll ensure you a reply within 2 hours or 3 hours at the most. So there's a speedy redressal forum also for that. Also, secondly, as you said, for women entrepreneurs. So for them also, I would guide them that don't take your business as you're doing your time pass or something of that. So there's a very typical notion that when a woman or a girl is doing a business, acha time pass ho jata hai. But that is not the case. Do your business as your father is doing, as your husband is doing, as your brother is doing. Take it very seriously and start protecting it from the beginning in a way that you grow equally, that you take charge. You have to take charge of your rights also, your responsibilities also. These fall into your responsibilities. Don't take it just say, okay, well, I have to spend my 2 3 hours a day. Okay, I'll do this. I don't need any compliances for that. It is not such. You never know. The beautiful business that you're starting, it may go to another level. And that time, if you fall short of these compliances, then your 2 3 years of hard work go waste and you have to start afresh from there. So from day one, you have to start a business as it's a big business, be it a woman, a man, or anyone from that field.
So, Vidisha, what is the kind of investment required? Because when people are starting a new business, they are struggling to get together funds enough to make their products and services. And I see them cutting corners on branding. I see them cutting corners on packaging. I see them cutting corners on everything. So they are just trying to make little money, and the first bunch of money that comes in goes into shopping, giving their children, buying something, going on a holiday. So these are the kind of expenditures most of the women entrepreneur that I come across have dreams. I want to earn so that I can take a vacation. I want to earn so that I can educate my children. I want to earn so the purpose of earning is very, very contributory. They are not just earning for pleasure. So when they are earning, the first instinct is to take the money out of the business and get what they wanted, maybe in first 1 year, in second year, third year, but the money is definitely going out of the business. And then when you talk about all these extra things that they have to do, intellectual property laws, branding, this, they said, no, 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 I can't afford it, I'm too small. So what is the kind of investment required per year or per month to get yourself protected for your brand? On the minimum to the maximum, I know lawyer to lawyer it varies, product to product it varies, but on an average, what is the kind of budget they should have for their protecting their brand?
So if you're starting your business, if you're talking only about the legal expenses, of course, the person knows more about their manufacturing expenses, the overhead expenses. But when it comes to legal expenses, if definitely depends on lawyer to lawyer. If you're going to some very big shot, then they'll charge you a bomb and everything. But then also there are many new lawyers, there are many new company secretaries and chartered accountants who are really doing their business in a way to promote their clients. For us at Avyukta, definitely money is last. For us, it's our clients first, the business second, and the money last. So our first thing is we don't expect a lot of professional fees for sure because we want the client's business to set off. In the later
Right.
years, we do have a lot of window where we can also get a fair share of money, but that is our last concern. So when you want to protect your rights, if you're talking about the expenses, so anything around 50,000 to 1 lakh is there to for a single business. If you're doing multiple business, of course the multiplication is there, but when you're doing a simple business, anything around 50,000 to 1 lakh, and that is not a very big amount, because if that is invested today, in the next 2 3 years you will grow much more, that you will do much better vacations
So,
in the long
so
run.
I would put it. It is less than a pune's salary. A 10,000 per month would be 1,20,000 a year. So
Definitely.
it's less than your chai coffee ka kharcha for a month for your whole staff. But a lot of people fail to put that extra money in because they feel ki, no, that is taking out of my profit. They don't understand that this is going to multiply my profit in the future by protecting me. So thank
It's
you
just
so
a
much for
gift.
giving. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much
Just
for
a gift
giving
for
that
6 to
insight.
12 months.
Yes. So, Vidisha, we have around 6 minutes more, and I would want you to give the max. I know we are just taking advantage of you being here and asking you a number
It's
of
our
questions.
pleasure.
I
Yeah.
would want I would want the audience to put it in a chat. Any questions they have, Vidisha will definitely read them and answer them. Vidisha, I would like you to share your company link, the website link on this chat because it's going to help a lot of women. some questions that other people had asked me to ask you. I'm going to ask you those questions. And do you want to share your experience that when client come to you and they see this young and chirpy young lawyer, do they trust you? I mean, they say, "तुम बहुत छोटी हो, तुम्हारा experience, you know." Do you choose lawyer by experience, or do you choose lawyers by their personality? How do you choose lawyers?
I would prefer them to have a blend of both because experience is a must for lawyers and doctors both, is what I say. And also, if you work with someone who has just entered, they are more aware about the latest procedures that have come into the
Right,
procedure.
right.
Yes, so you need to have a blend of both. Luckily, I've had that because my father has been a backbone. He has been into the industry since more than 30 years now. So I have a lot of I have his experience. I know I can take his advices. I can take everything for him. So I do have a experience also, and also me being from the next generation, I know what are the new things that are into the procedure right now. So
You are
I
tech
am very
savvy.
happy to have a blend of
You are
both.
tech savvy, you know. I understand
Very
because I
tech
know.
savvy,
I,
and I
I
know
know
faster
senior.
way of doing things.
Yeah, I know senior lawyers who have amazing experience, but they refuse to come on camera. Okay, they refuse. They are not comfortable, and they may be fighting the biggest of cases. But when you talk, ask them to, you know, make a video or come on camera, they're like, no, 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 no. And I know this young bunch of generation of lawyers who are okay. Let's do it. It's like, you know, it doesn't even think for a second. So I can understand that technological part over there. And of course, yeah, go ahead, Vidisha.
Yes, so definitely you need to have a blend of both experience and technology and innovativeness of the new generation. So for me, it was a very lucky factor that I did have a ready setup for me. So my experience did start from where people really struggled to get into. So for me, that luck factor definitely mattered. But over a time, I also bought in the innovativeness of the into that experience, which brought us a perfect blend of the experience and the new ways of doing things and faster way of doing things, because our generation is very fast. And as you said, if the clients they I have been very supportive from my family and everyone around me. So I've come from a very strong background where they have put that confidence into me, you can do it. So when they see my confidence, I'm sure they are also relaxed that okay, she will manage and protect our business.
Amazing, amazing. So, Vidisha,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you again that, you know what, a lot of people in India, I don't think they have registered or trademarked their property, even if they have got like generations of business, you know, including some jewelers to some, you can say, you know, very, very traditional chefs and, you know, brands and all that. So, what is the percentage of people who have already worked, you know, in India, if you go to see, out of the billions and millions of people who are there and, you know, trying to create their own identity, their own business, how many of them have actually protect them themselves?
According to my knowledge, 20 to 30%, nothing about that.
That's
So
it.
that's it. I recently came across this person who was doing a tea business, a very big tea estate business since 70 to 80 years. The forefathers have been doing. And randomly, they are like, we are doing this business, but now some new person has started using the same brand and taking benefit of that. So, okay, 70, 80 years down the line, there was not much awareness, but at least you could have done it 20, 30 years back then because the IPR rights had started back then. So definitely I come across such people where, you know, with 70, 80 years of business also they haven't protected their rights. So this 20 to 30% that I'm saying is also more. A lot of people need to get into this and protect their rights. And then the fun of doing business also elevates to another level that you are relaxed that okay, tomorrow no one is going to come and, you know, hamper upon my rights.
So now, Vidisha, I want to ask you a bigger corporate question in the sense that there is Tata's, there is Reliance, there is Birla's, you know. So Tata Birla is the first thing that comes to your mouth, you know, when you talk about big, big
Yes,
things.
yes.
So
Yeah.
this is generations of business, and Mr. Ratan Tata has created. So do you, if you are starting something on your name, like Gemini Dhars Take Charge, Gemini Dhars Take Charge 5x Formula, Gemini Dhars 9 Ways to Empower, would you recommend to trademark and register my name with my business, or just the title that I would want to use? How does it go between
It goes
individual
both.
and product? What do you choose, individual's name with the product or a service, or just the product and service?
So that depends from service to service. So if there is something that the take chart show that you're doing, if that is constrained only to you and you know your future generations, they are interested in different fields and they might not get into this thing. So in that case, if you do it with your name, it adds to your brand value. It adds to, okay, so there are also restrictions on the names that are being used, very common names. For example, you can say Pooja or something, we cannot register. But of course, yours being a unique name, you know you will create a recognition across the market, across the nation, across the globe. You definitely should proceed and trademark. But when you're doing a legacy business, in that case, it is always better that you just register your product, your brand name, so that the future generations might also not use that in the longer run. So in that case, if you have a protected
So
brand, they can
now,
take the benefits of it.
there is Tata Tea, there is Tata, there is Tata, let's say masala, okay? There is
Tata
Tata Tea,
Steel,
Tata
Tata
masala,
Power.
and whatever. So, what do you think? Every time they have to add the products to their copyrights?
Yes, they have to. Whatever. So technically, tea, coffee, those things individually cannot be copyrighted. Generic terms, no one can copyright. Everyone has a right to use them. But when you're coming with a minor change in the logo, or you're doing anything with your logo, adding a tagline, all of it has to be trademarked. All of it has to be copyrighted. Everything needs to be done because it's a very small procedure that you're
So,
doing. But
every time you add something, do we have to upgrade it or you have to redo it?
redo it, because what you
Yes,
have
I
already
know.
applied for is what you are entitled to use it for the next 10 years, and upon renewal another 10 years. So every time you come with a new product or something, so every product has to be registered. So if you just check Cadbury, Tata, or Wipro,
Can
they
you
would be having too many marks.
Okay, now we are already at 1:45. The show has to end now. I can go on and on. This has been an amazing, very good learning thing. Of course, there are a lot of layers to law, and I am sure you will be some of the amazing person to help. So, if any of the audience wants to connect to you, are you available on a phone call or an email or Insta ID? Where do we contact you? And your last one line to my audience about branding and how to protect their brand.
Okay,
So
so
first,
anyway, I'm available on social media. I'm available over a phone call, over an email ID. So if possible, I can just post my website and the email ID over here. I'm just a call away. You just post me your query, and I'll make sure I'll provide you the quickest solution for everything. And also, sorry, what was the last thing regarding the one line I want to convey to?
yes.
Yes, yes. So love your business and treat it as your own creativity, which you want to spread across the globe. And start with it, nurture it like you raise your child, and provide it as much as you can. Give it as much as you can, and I'm sure in the next the decades to come, it would be such a big entity that you will be thankful that, oh, I did it this in my early years. It was really beneficial for me. So just start in a very grand manner, and I'm sure your business will be grand.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Vidisha. Thank you so much for giving your valuable insights, your time, and learning. I try to make it as simple as possible. Law is complicated, but when you go to people like Vidisha, it's really simple. I've met some amazing lawyers in my life. Gratitude to all the lawyers out there. Because of you, I am safe. Because of you, I am happy. Because of you, I am growing. So thank you for protecting all the brands that you have, Vidisha. Keep doing the amazing work, and see you again next time on the show with one more amazing women personality or somebody who will add value to your business. If you have some interesting people who can really add value to the show, please inbox me on Instagram at the Gemini, and I will check their profile and invite them on my show. Thank you so much. Thank you, 10 News, for having us. Gratitude to you for giving me this platform. Bye, Vidisha. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye, 10 News. Thank you so much for having me here. See you, audience, next time.